All right, thank you everybody. I'm gonna get up here. So number one, I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be here with you guys tonight. And thank you to everybody before me. There were some staggering statistics out there, staggering. 175 people per day die from this disease. There's a few other statistics that I would like to discuss with my time up here. 115 parents who were once considered junkies got their kids back today, okay? 115 parents. 111 people who were deemed incorrigible in society, throwaways, signed up for college today, okay? They signed up for college today, all right? 111 people who were unemployable because of their drug addiction started new businesses today, baby. It started today. And one person who was ashamed to his family, one person who was called a habitual relapser, right? A chronic relapser, right? A menace to society, is on a stage at Williamstown High School talking about recovery, talking about a solution, right? That's right, I'm an addict named Eric. My clean date's August 4th, 2010, and I want to take a round of applause for that because that was hard to get. My clean date is August 4th, 2010. On that date, August 4th, 2010, I found myself laying on a bench outside of City Hall in Center City, Philadelphia, having just been released from Delaware County Prison, I'm from Pennsylvania, for yet another DUI, another possession charge. And I can remember vividly laying there on that bench, looking up at that, there's a statue of William Penn on the top of it, looking up on that statue, hopeless, right? Lost all hope. My health was gone, just gave it away to addiction. And I could also remember looking around, at the people. They were all going somewhere. They were doing stuff and thinking to myself, I never contributed to this community in any way. I wasn't doing anything positive. And these were the thoughts that were going through my head as I laid there on that bench looking up at that statue of William Penn. And it's hard to describe, but something happened to me that night. When your psyche just can't take any more abuse, when your physical body just gives up on you, it allowed for a higher consciousness to come in, something bigger than me. It's hard to explain, and quite frankly, I'm not going to get into it, but something happened that night, and it led me to different avenues, to different possibilities. And since that day, I've become obsessed with introducing recovery in the context that I see it, right? As an opportunity not to be as good as you were, but better than you've ever been in your entire life, right? My message is that, and the reason that I have that message is from experience. Just to share a cool little story, on November 4th, 2016, almost 6 years to the day that I was laying on that bench, hopeless, helpless, I signed a contract with a law firm on the 34th floor of the 1500 Market Building, the building directly adjacent to City Hall. I signed a contract with the law firm to teach health and wellness to lawyers. The whole time I'm signing, I'm looking at that statue of William Penn directly in the eye. 6 years later, that same statue that I was looking up at, directly in the eye, as I signed a contract to teach health and wellness. When I talk about growth as an option, that should be announced right from the beginning, right? Growth is a byproduct of the worst things that have ever happened to us, right? And if we don't put that out there right from the beginning and make it a self-fulfilled prophecy and say, hey guys, you don't have to die from this. Hey, you don't have to go in and out of jail. As a matter of fact, you could grow exponentially from this, right? You could grow exponentially, and I'm living proof of that, So when we talk about statistics, we have to start adding the success stories. We have to start sharing the hope, right? Otherwise, we're going to have a difficult time overcoming this hurdle. And it is a big deal. I'm not, I recognize the statistics, and trust me, I've lost people. I've lost a lot of people. I continue their memory by the way that I live my life and by the program that I created and the mission that I'm on. But a lot of the fuel that I have is rooted in disgust for what, as a society, the way that we're approaching this. You know, certain statistics do stand out to me. I think in 2016, roughly, there were 64,070 overdose deaths as related to drugs and alcohol. That was a 21% increase, 21% increase from 2015, right? 14% from the year before. Since 2010, we've been trending upward every single year in overdose deaths, and then we act surprised when it's an epidemic, right? And we're screaming from the rooftop, we need more resources. Give us more resources. We're going to the politician. We need more resources. That's the problem, right? We are in the richest country on the globe, and this has been trending upward for 5 consecutive years. We do not need more resources. We need to be more resourceful with our dialogue, right? The way that we're talking about this and the way that we're communicating with each other. So many times I've been doing this, and it's a privilege to be able to do this. Just last year, I've spoken to over 2,500 people about growing from addiction, about being in recovery in the true sense of being in recovery, right? I've been able to speak to it, and every single time someone, but was it a choice, or is it a disease? Was it a choice? Or is it a disease? And I get in this 20-minute conversation, and at the very end, I'm like, what the hell are we talking about? Because at the end of the day, we have a problem that we have to address, right? This debate, it's inefficient right now, and it's not getting us what we want, so we have to say, I have to accept where we are right now, and we have to join together more than ever as a community if we're going to make a positive impact on this thing. And I like to do something just to illustrate the impact of when we join together. When we're focused, when we're speaking the same language, when we're talking in the correct context about this thing, we can make a huge difference. So I'm going to need your participation with this, but I'm going to start it off. So me out there trying to get this message out pretty loud without the microphone. Me out there trying to get the message out sounds something like this. Now, on the count of 3, I want all of us, and I want you to clap, all of us to bring it together. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, baby, we're stronger together. Together we can make a difference. Together we can impact this thing. This is how it works. Feel that energy. Together we're stronger. Let's start talking about this in the right way. Let's join together. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. That's recovery. You guys feel that? At the same time, I'm not burying my head in the sand. I've done the research. It took me 3 years to create this program. It's called the Everlasting Recovery Program. I am extremely proud of it. But, I've done my research. And quite frankly, I think one of the biggest problems that we're running into, rather than needing more resources, we have to take a look at the treatment model. The treatment model is flawed, and I don't care, who, nobody could disagree because I've done all of the research. I've read the studies. I've looked under the hood of this thing, and it's the only industry that's not evaluated every couple years. Every other industry, we take a look and we say, is this really working? Are there things we could do better, right? Here, it's like you meet the diagnostic criteria, and this is the treatment plan, and and the treatment model, and it boils down to just a few models that are being offered. So you have your 12-step model. So a guy like me, I went to a 12-step rehab, and as soon as I sat down, what they taught was 12 steps, but they also let me know a statistic. As soon as I sat down, they said, look around you. 2 out of every 10 is going to make it. Only 2, right? Now, I'm a person with bad self-image to begin with. I'm broken. I've been making mistakes for years, and I sit down, and they tell me, look around you. You know what I'm thinking? Well, who the hell is it? It's not me, because my self-image was crap to begin with. But let me ask you this. Knowing just psychology 101, I'll give you a lesson. It's called a self-fulfilled prophecy. right? You tell me something when I'm already down, I'll actualize it subconsciously, right? It's behavior-based. Without even realizing it, I'm ruling myself out from day one. Now, the question that I have to ask, and I think it's common sense, is are making people aware of those statistics keeping those statistics where they are? Somebody yell yes. All right, somebody's following along. Good. Yeah, right. Yes. I mean, and that's the basics, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not, I'm not up here talking anything, too clinical or too academic. That's just basic human behavior, if you understand it. So I'd like to say, what if the first thing that somebody hears when they come in now is, this is an opportunity not for you to be as good as you were before you started drinking and drugging, but better than you've ever been. Let's ask this question from day one. How can I grow from this? How can I grow from this? How can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? What if we did that as a society, right? Just talking this point forward, this point forward, what if we started talking like that? It's a mindset thing. We've tried it the other way for years. At what point are we just going to say, I'm sorry, it's not working as well as we had hoped. Let's reevaluate, and take a different direction. So back to the program models. We have the 12-step program. So you're taught essentially 1, 2, and 3, right around there, the concepts of a 12-step program, along with your psychotherapy, your basic group stuff, relapse prevention, psychoeducation, which is good in its own right? But the main model is a 12-step. So the hope is when you leave, you get right to a meeting, right? And meetings are great, but they don't sit with everybody. So if that's the only tool you were given, the only tool that you have in your pocket, and you go straight to a meeting and it doesn't work, you hate it. You don't like it. You meet somebody who makes you uncomfortable. You have a bad experience. That was your tool. That was what you got. Right? That was all that you got out of that. You're not in a good position. You're not in a position to succeed. We failed in the talking just treatment model for now. Stick with me. We failed in that sense, if that's all that we offered and it didn't work. And it doesn't work for a large percentage of people. And I'm an advocate for it, but it doesn't. Okay, so that's the 12-step model. Next, we have the evidence-based models, okay? That's the program that teaches your cognitive behavioral therapy, your CBT, your DBT, right? Behavioral therapies. Clinically, they're very successful, right? And again, I'm an advocate of this as well. However, there's a flaw that seems to be overlooked, and I'm not sure why. So, a behavioral therapy, right, implies that you want to address the behavior, right? Take a new approach. So, cognitive behavioral therapy, in a nutshell, you have an activating event, you have a thought related to that event, you have a corresponding feeling, and you behave in a certain way. So, activating event, thought, feeling, behavior, right? So, somebody comes in to a treatment facility, which is a controlled environment. You turn in your cell phone, you get away from your family, you get away from your friends, and then we're using an evidence-based model, hoping that we could get somebody to remember vividly, remember the worst thing that's happened to you. Remember the most painful thing. Remember the thing that makes you most angry, right? And as soon as you remember it, I'm going to teach you, a new approach, a new thought that you could relate to that will lead to a new feeling and a new behavior. That is flawed. That's a flawed model. You cannot teach a behavioral therapy conceptually. You're teaching the concept of a therapy, hoping that when back in the environment, the activating event presents itself, you have enough memory to apply that new tool in the moment. Very difficult thing to do, and quite frankly, not how the brain operates, not how humans work. So, we have 12-step, we have behavioral therapies, the evidence-based models, and now the big thing is MAT, which is awesome. All these are I'm a fan of, by the way, with the addition of something else. MAT, so you have your medically assisted treatment. Problem with that is if you just do the MAT, your body adapts to medication. You eventually will need a higher dosage, or it'll get to the point where it's ineffective. That's what we do. So if you're just taking MAT and you don't have daily disciplines, and that's what I preach, daily disciplines lead to recovery, and you're not doing anything to supplement that approach, you're in trouble, right? You're in a position to fail. You guys following along with me, yes or no? Yes, yes or no? Yes, all right, come on, stay engaged. So MAT, right? And there are places, and this is really boggles my mind, where they'll teach the 12-step model, and then they'll take them to get on medically assisted treatment at the same facility. Do I have any 12-steppers in here? So I go to the 12-step meeting, having been given these tools. I sit down and share that I'm on Suboxone, and they say, dude, you're not clean. You're not clean. You're not sober. And then I feel like crap because on rehab they gave me a stone and a key tag. And I thought I was, but now somebody who's experienced, who has X amount of years, who's well respected in this community that I only have tools to be a part of, is telling me that I may not belong. And that doesn't happen everywhere. I'm just telling you scenarios that I believe are leading to a flawed model and preventing us from making the impact that we deserve to make. We deserve better, ladies and gentlemen. We deserve better. And I'm going to make sure that we get it. So what I suggest is, and I lost my thing here, but we have do you have the clicker? So this is a model that we inject in all those treatments. So it's called the Everlasting Recovery Program. And just real quick, because I'm running out of time, the objective is to bring balance in with the biopsychosocial model here, psychological balance, biological balance, sociological balance, with the recovery being at the intersection. And what we need to do is make sure that by the time the person leaves treatment, they've assessed where they stand in each major area of their life: career, family, health, and so on and so forth. And that is a true holistic program. From that assessment, we need to set goals and attack every single day and be inspired by what drives us. There's something that drives us as addicts. And there was a form of discontent to begin with. So when society and our families say, I just want the old Eric back, just get back to where you were, that doesn't excite me, because there was a form of discontent to begin with that I was running away from. But when you tell me I have an opportunity, Eric, to be better than I've ever been, if I could just work a basic program, that's going to excite me. If I have a goal, everybody should leave a facility with something that excites them, that they are pursuing with every fiber of their being when they leave there, right? In which case, we are not avoiding people, places, and things. I am deliberately choosing what people, what places, and what things that I need in my life to actualize that goal that I said is going to change my life, and that is recovery right there. That's how I live it. That's how I see it. I'm looking for an army, right? We're not hiding in basements anymore. We need to come out and we need to talk about this on large scales, right? And we need to talk about the hope. Now, we acknowledge the lost, the loss. And it stings. And it hurts. But we need to acknowledge the hope. And we need blue candles here for hope, for every positive difference that we're making. Yeah, come on. We need to bring out blue candles incrementally, because there's other stuff going on. We're living proof. I can tell by the round of applause. We are living proof that this is happening, right? Let's balance it out. Let's talk about the hope. And finally, we all are responsible. So let's be the change that we wish to see in the world. Thank you, guys.